I'd like to call this meeting to order. Tonight, the presentations of colors are done by North Buncombe High School. These cadets are instructed by Captain Thomas Swanberg of the U.S. Coast Guard. He is retired. So. Forward. March. Colors. Hope. Left. Face. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Right. Face. Forward. March. Colors. Hope. Order. Colors. Ready. Cut. Forward. March. Tonight I ask that you remain standing for a moment of silence and remember the losses that we have incurred over the last few weeks in Buncombe County schools. And we ask that you observe this moment of silence by thinking of those losses. Thank you. You may be seated. I'd welcome a motion to approve the agenda.
So moved.
Could I get a second?
Second.
Thank you. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Dr. Jackson, it's your turn.
Good evening, parents, members of the community, board members, and teammates. I'm incredibly excited about the opportunity we'll have in just a few moments to recognize amazing teachers from each of our schools. These teachers are exemplars of the incredible teachers and faculty members throughout our school system. As we rightfully celebrate and honor them, by extension, we celebrate every teacher and every faculty member throughout our school system. National Assistant Principals Week was officially last week as we were away from school for spring break. We'd also like to celebrate and honor the dedicated men and women who serve in these vital roles, a sometimes thankless job filled with bus schedules, building operations, and pitching in wherever needed. Our schools depend on their service in more ways than we could ever name. Thank you to each of our assistant principals for your tireless dedication to students, teachers, staff, parents, and the community. We appreciate you. We'd like to offer our congratulations to our high schools for earning reaccreditation during the month of April. The process of accreditation is rigorous as schools are examined for their continuous progress procedures and for their student success results. Thank you to all of the school teams and faculty members who are involved in this process, and again, congratulations. The superintendent's listening and learning adventure is winding to a close.
Hallelujah.
I've now completed 43 of 45 full school day visits with number 44 tomorrow morning at Cane Creek Middle School. The visits were each and have been absolutely wonderful. I've left each of our campuses amazed at the work of our teachers and staff and appreciative of the hard work of our students. The atmosphere of each of our schools feels warm and caring. I'm extremely grateful to the principals, teachers, students, and staff members who have so warmly welcomed me and have endeavored to help me understand and experience the strengths and challenges of each individual school. At next month's school board meeting, I will present to the board and to our community what I have learned about our school system and about our schools. our points of pride, and our opportunities for growth. I'm looking forward to sharing with our board, our team, and our community what I've learned. One thing that I have learned, and one thing that I know, and we know, is that students, families, and the community have never needed a strong, loving, and caring school system as much as they do now. We accept this challenge. We commit to each and every one of our students. We will elevate to new and majestic heights. We will give our all because our students are worthy of our very best efforts. To our team and to our board members, thank you for all that you do for our students, for our families, for our teachers, and for our staff of the Buncombe County School System. Madam Chair, this concludes my comments.
Thank you.
Madam Chair, can I just make a statement here? Is that
Yes.
okay? I want to thank Dr. Jackson for the time he's spent in our schools and talking to principals, teachers, counselors, custodians. Those folks have really appreciated your visits, and I want to commend you for doing that. Thank you very, very much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Now it's time for good news. Ms. Harris, Dr. Harris.
Thank you, thank you. Good evening, Madam Chair, Dr. Jackson, members of the board. This evening, we continue a wonderful tradition for Buncombe County Schools, where we will recognize all of our school-level Teachers of the Year tonight, as well as do our surprise announcement of our 7 district winners. To help us with this celebration, I would like to invite Ms. Jenny Zimmerman, our 2023 BCS Teacher of the Year, to the podium, as well as Dr. Jennifer Reed. She is our Assistant Superintendent. So ladies, come on up.
Thank you, Dr. Harris, and welcome, and thank you all for being here. This is the best, most super fun night of all for good news, and all I just want to say is that Buncombe County Schools has a fantastic Teacher of the Year program. Everybody involved in it is awesome, and it's really run for teachers, by teachers, for us to shout out and show love for each other, and some of us, like myself, get the treat of getting to know all of these amazing educators, and so I will just say that these are teachers whose classrooms are structured and organized and full of learning, but they're also full of love. And that is the one thing that makes me excited to honor all of them today. And here's Dr. Jennifer Reed.
Thank you, Ms. Zimmerman. I'll be quick. I just want to say thank you and congratulations to each of our Teachers of the Year. I know many of you sitting out there personally, and I know the love that you radiate all the time, but the love that you radiate in your classroom is a special kind of love and a special kind of dedication. You truly are the heartbeat of our district and why we do what we do. So it is my honor and distinct privilege to be part of this ceremony tonight. And at this time, I'll turn it back over to Ms. Zimmerman. She'll read names, and I'll be handing your certificate, and I'll shake your hand as you come through.
For each district, I'll invite the board member to come up also and to congratulate the teachers from that district. We're going to start with the at-large district and board member Amanda Simpkins. All right, our Teachers of the Year for the at-large district. From Community High School, John Moore. Representing Early College and Middle College, Aaron Meadows. From the BCS Virtual Academy, Gerald Parker. From Nesbitt Discovery Academy, Nicole Washburn. And from the Progressive Education Program, Kelly Holland. Invite Kim Plemons from the Irwin District. Representing Irwin High School, Ricky Carpenter. From Irwin Middle School, Christopher Lavignette. From Evelyn Intermediate School, Christy Moore. From Emma Elementary School, Kim Woody. Representing Johnston Elementary School, Kanan Frisbee. From Lester Elementary School, Kimberly Riley. West Buncombe Elementary School, Irene Oramas Sosa. And from Woodfin Elementary School, Amy Klaus. Board Member Judy Lewis as we celebrate the Inca District teachers. From Inca High School, Trent Bass. From Inca Middle School, Beth Lane. Representing Inca Intermediate School, Kathleen Willie. From Candler Elementary School, Misty Brooks. From Hominy Valley Elementary School, Sheila Zavalia. For Pisgah Elementary School, Sherry Green. And from Sand Hill Venable Elementary School, Donna Collins. We now have the Robertson District. I'd like to invite Amy Churchill to congratulate those teachers. From T.C. Robertson High School, Andrew Devine. From Valley Springs Middle School, Whitney Cooper. From Kuntz Intermediate School, Ashley Morrow. Avery's Creek Elementary, Christina Chesley. From Estes Elementary School, Stacy Williams. And from Glen Arden Elementary School, Susan Rana.
personality.
I'd like to invite Rob Elliott, board member from the Reynolds District, next. From AC Reynolds High School, Maura Brower. From Reynolds Middle School, Maggie Hatling. From Cane Creek Middle School, Bonnie Hanna. For Bell Elementary School, Miranda Jordan. From Fairview Elementary School, Andrea Sellers. From Haw Creek Elementary School, Jennifer Griffin. And from Oakley Elementary School, Amy Davis. I'd like to invite Peggy Buchanan from the Owen District. Representing Owen High School, Kelly Dunbar. From Owen Middle School, Chad Noteboom. Black Mountain Elementary School, Caroline Clark. From Black Mountain Primary School, Ashley Stiles. And from W.D. Williams Elementary School, Sarah Torrey. Invite Madam Chair Ann Franklin for the North Buncombe District. Go Hawks. From North Buncombe High School, Mike Rowe. For North Buncombe Middle School, Allison Singleton. From North Windy Ridge Intermediate, Lori Selesky. From North Buncombe Elementary School, April Young. From Barnardsville Elementary School, Teresa Robinson. From Weaverville Elementary School, Jonathan Hintz. And for Weaverville Primary School, Bonnie Bullman. And there's one more announcement. There's a briefcase. So, you know, it's a thing. Yeah, go ahead. Dr. Reed will hand me the winners and we'll announce them. Thank you to all the teachers for writing your essays and participating. It's hard. I can't even explain how hard it is to choose one teacher over the other, but that's a great problem to have, isn't it? So congratulations to all of you, and I'm super excited to announce our 7 district winners. If you guys will come back down and probably stand in a line, or if you want to wait. Yeah. So when you're called, if your name is called, come and stand. We'll get one picture of that, and then yeah, we'll keep on going. So thanks. From the Inca district, our district finalist is Misty Brooks from Candler Elementary. The Irwin District finalist is Kanan Frisbee from Johnston Elementary. The North Buncombe District finalist is Mike Rowe from North Buncombe High School. Our Owen finalist is Ashley Stiles from Black Mountain Primary. From the at-large district, Nicole Washburn, Nesbitt Discovery Academy. From the Reynolds district, the finalist is Maura Brower from AC Reynolds High School. And finally, our Robertson finalist is Susan Rana from Glen Arden Elementary. Oh, sure, okay.
Do a couple of group shots. We'll do this one, and then we'll add the board members afterwards. Can we do that, guys?
Hey, ready? 1, 2, 3. No.
Finalists, come on back.
I thought you were getting out of something.
Our board members, please stand up and come stand next to your person. Find your person.
What did she tell me to do?
Go stand next to you. You're not done either.
have our superintendents for the next photo as well?
One more round of applause for all our teachers of the year. Yay. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. If you are a teacher of the year, you are going to follow Brianna.
Oh, wait, man.
And get another picture made outside. The whole group, just go that way. Yay!
We're not going to announce it.
Congratulations.
They'll have another round, yeah. And they'll pick out the 7 who the district will be.
Wow.
And then everyone left.
Yeah.
Really?
Congratulations. Yeah.
Good job. Good job.
Hey, don't go anywhere. I'm going to say your name.
Nice to meet you. Good bunch of people.
That was fun.
I love you. Hold on. Let's empty the room here. Don't go anywhere.
Doing good. How are you?
I guess Jeff handed me. Good job.
To the audience and to those that have left, I want to thank Jenny Zimmerman for her work that she's done with this in the presentation and all of the reading that she's had to do in preparation for this. Thank you, Jenny.
And Madam Chair, if I may, I also want to recognize Ms. Zimmerman, our District Teacher of the Year. As I arrived, I had the opportunity to meet Ms. Zimmerman and was absolutely delighted with my time spent with her, and she took willingly and enthusiastically the task of working with our other District Teachers of the Year to create our Teacher Leadership Council, who will be meeting with me to help guide the school system moving forward. So I certainly appreciate her leadership as our representative of our teachers and staff and her work with our to-be-formed Teacher Leadership Council. Thank you, Ms. Zimmerman.
Now, I believe it is time, Lord have mercy, I've moved around on this agenda, and it is time to hear from our reports, and I will recognize Tina Thorpe. Okay. Got it.
Good afternoon, Madam Chair, members of the board, and Dr. Jackson. My goal tonight is to talk about our pathway and where we have come from and where we're going with the classified salary and give you an update on that information. Some of the topics that I'll be covering are the Buncombe County Schools profile, the classified salary study overview and the implementation timeline,
This will be a refresher on where we've been and where we are going, and then we'll talk about the local supplement comparison. I'm going to dive into our local supplement, and I will compare both classified and some certified positions along with other public school units close to our size and bigger than us. So Buncombe County Schools is the 14th largest public school district in North Carolina. We currently have 45 schools, and we have approximately 22,000 students. Along with that, we have around 3,300 FTEs, full-time equivalents, and approximately 1,500 subs and part-time employees on an annual basis. This next graph demonstrates that our budget totals by category. And as you can see, right now, this was 22-23, that our salaries and fringe benefits, which is all personnel expense, is around 80%. That is skewed just a little because we normally are around 85 to 90% in personnel. The ESSER dollars for non-personnel is in this, so it's lowering it a bit, which then ends in 24. So just so you know, our normal salaries and fringe benefits is around 85% of our budget. So I want to talk about financial challenges I'm going to start with a personal perspective of budgeting, because general statute requires that public school units balance our budget each year, meaning, well, what does that mean? That means we have to calculate how much revenues that are coming in from either state, federal, or local, and a few other grants. And we have to figure out how much revenue is coming in per year. And then we have to do this knowing that we have to manage all of our expenses and balance. We cannot be over in expenditures. So as a personal standpoint, we typically think of it from budgeting and personal accounts. And we're thinking, oh, well, if I'm taking in all my revenue that I earn, then I've got to stay within my means. And the goal is that we will account for all of our revenues. Well, as a personal standpoint, what if we don't have enough money? What do? Well, we usually increase our salary by getting a second job, or we go out and take on credit and increase our debt. Well, here's the problem with North Carolina school boards. Here's the financial challenge. Not necessarily a problem. North Carolina school boards cannot levy taxes, so therefore we cannot increase our revenues ourselves. We don't have that ability. North Carolina school boards are not able to issue debt, so we cannot go in debt and take on debt. So the local budget often is adopted way before, because there's a general statute that it has to be presented in May, and it has to be presented to the county by the 15th of May as a general statute. Well, that is always way before the state passes our budget. So that's another challenge that we have to take into account. Hiring takes place before the state budget is ever passed. The state often mandates additional expenses while not funding those expenses. So where does that come from? That's if we have any local money, we have to use it to cover those. And the majority of state and federal funding is based on ADM, average daily membership. So we're struggling in that area that our average daily membership has gone down. So we have these financial challenges ahead of us. But with all that being said, we started this pathway of trying to help all of our classified staff with the hourly wage and to meet the living wage in Buncombe County. So we hired HIL, which is Hurd, Eisenhower, and Lopes Consultants, in August of 21. They began the interview process in October of 21. They met with several classified personnel, did lots of lengthy interviews. November to February, they worked on all of the in-depth studies that they did for current salaries, the policies, the scales, the steps, the ranges. They looked at everything in great detail. And then they came back to us in February and presented to the local information to us. Then on May 6th, they came and presented to the board. And they went over and compared cost of living, hourly living wage, industry key drivers, along with market and supply demands on the workforce. And this board graciously pushed and recommended that we move with this, which was wonderful. And so then on May 10th, we took it to the Buncombe County Commissioners. Let me go back just one more. Okay. We took it to, May 10th, we took it over to the county. We presented it to them based on the board's recommendations. And this was also, it had certified and classified in it because it was based on a state legislated mandate along with the salary analysis that had been completed. Then graciously, the Buncombe County Commissioners approved us to go through a 3-year phase of this classified salary increase. And that was approved on June 21st. And then in July the 1st, we put into place here in Buncombe County, we changed all the classified pay scales and increased this and put this we implemented this on July the 1st of 22. Then the average salary increase out of phase 1 was 10% for the classified staff. We are headed to May 9th, 2023. On May 5th, we're going to come to our board and we're going to present that we are going to ask to move to full implementation, to phase 3. And so we're going to take it to the county commissioners on May 9th because the county commissioners' budget team has indicated that they will move, and hopefully they will follow through, move to full implementation of phase 3 of the salary scales. And then they will vote in June of 23. So as of July 1 of 23, BCS will implement, depending on how the county commissioners vote, and hopefully move to full implementation. And I did want to touch on this. I don't want people to forget that what we were working towards as a board was, these were the recommendations to adjust that classified salary scale. That we were going to address the state mandated minimum of $15 per hour. And then we were going to give the local supplement on top of the $15 minimum hour. So we'll have the base salary plus local supplement. That's what the board wanted, and we moved on that. This was alleviating vertical compression because, as you will remember, most of the classified were stuck at the same pay rate from 0 to 15 years. There was no pay increase for 15 years. There was also issues with compression in different categories vertically, not just horizontally. So another key component that we cannot forget is this also allowed us to remain within the state-specified salary ranges. There are salary ranges that are mandated for all classified and certified personnel, but this recommendation allowed us to stay within those state ranges. Once this is fully implemented, the average increase, not any other changes, is 17.42% upon full implementation. That does not include if the state is right now in long session, depending on what the state budget comes out. These are just the basis of what the full implementation based on the current numbers are. All right. I'd like to give an example of our pay grade 61. This particular pay grade, because I told you there were compressions vertically and horizontally. So this particular one, to adjust from the original amount of $21.22, their base was $14.51. With the local supplement of 10.77%, it was $16.07 was what they were making an hour. Phase 1 moved them to, phase 1 went in last July. It moved them to $18.99 per hour with the local supplement. Then with phase 3, with full implementation, it will move them to $20.73 an hour. And that is just the base pay grade 61, year 0. That is a 29% increase over the 2 years. I also want to show this. Buncombe County Schools provides the 6th highest teacher local supplement. As you can see, I've got them in order. This is directly off of our NC for schools. The teacher average supplement in Buncombe County is $8,292 in addition to their teacher salary that the state gives. That is to be applauded for this board and for the county commissioners to take that into consideration and move everyone to a higher salary. This right here tells a beautiful story. This is the local supplement comparison. And this is in the same order as the top 6 of teacher pay for the local supplement. So what this shows you is the majority of public school units across the state do not give a local supplement to classified staff at all. Buncombe County Schools gives a 10.77% to all classified staff. In addition to that, this is looking at a 10-year step, but meaning Buncombe gives it to, no matter what step you're on, you get 10.77. But over here in the right-hand column, I was comparing 10-year teachers because this is the certified. And so, yes, there's a few of them that are higher than us at the 10-year step, but what this is so powerful and showing is they are a much higher, larger district with lots more tax revenue. And you got to remember that's where these dollars come from, is tax revenues coming in, the tax base. So the other thing that's very, very poignant here is Buncombe County Schools, and with the approval of the county commissioners, has tried to be as equitable as possible with all staff. That's what that means when you see 10.77 local classified and you see 10.5 for certified. You have to be commended for that. That is a positive, that we're trying to stay equitable and give everyone an increase based on our cost of living. So I want to personally thank Buncombe County Board of Education and the county commissioners for all they do for Buncombe County Schools. Thank you all so much.
Are there questions from board members?
I just had one quick question, just need my memory refreshed. Do you remember when it was that we, because I know we, a few years back, asked for an increase in the supplement?
I know the answer.
Oh, good.
So I was doing the research on this. In 1617, the county approved certified to be increased to the level that we are now. And it was approved, and that has been in place since then. And the classified was in the earlier 2000s when it was increased.
So I'm sorry, so 2016-17 was for the certified. Okay.
In the early 2000s was the point that the classified was moved to 10.77.
Okay, other questions? Thank you.
You're very
I
welcome.
appreciate that, Tina.
Thank you.
We appreciate your research and your knowledge. I mean, just your knowledge. At this time, we're going to take a 5-minute break, and then we'll come back. Maybe a 10-minute break.
Good evening, everyone. It's now time for public comment. As a reminder, speakers will be called in the order in which they have signed up. All speakers will have precisely 3 minutes to speak and must adhere to the guidelines set forth in Policy 2310, Public Participation. We ask that you refrain from profane language, making threats, or revealing confidential student or personnel information. Please address the board as a whole, but please also note that the board generally does not respond directly to public comment. You will see that there is a timer over here. At 30 seconds, it will turn yellow, and then at the end of 3 minutes, it will turn red.
All right.
Madam Chair, we have 9 public speakers tonight. First is Phil Harden.
Good evening, everyone. My name's Phil Harden. I live at 12 East Forest Road. I'm a Buncombe County resident, retired educator from the community college. My wife is a retired French teacher from North Buncombe. And Dr. Jackson was my son's 4th grade teacher at Glen Arden. After leaving the community college system, I went in as a substitute teacher for 6 years at North Buncombe High School. And I can't recall a class I probably was not in. And it was a great experience. There's no better place to be than in the classroom. And I came away with 2 things. In Buncombe County, when a student enters whatever level, there's a curriculum for that student that they can be successful based on their capability and their motivation. I also learned that by a vast majority that this teaching faculty is more than capable of delivering instructions for those students to be successful. Then it came to my attention, it was said that for 11 years there's not been a supplemental pay increase. I understand what was just presented here. I found that astounding. I also found out we have a new superintendent and have new opportunities, and we can change direction. And I also know that we have a board of county commissioners that can be approached, and they have budget discretion. And I know that this county is going to be represented quite well by this board, and I hope that the media takes advantage of this and understands the circumstances that you face, and we greatly appreciate your efforts.
Thank you, sir.
Next is Lissa Pedersen.
Thank you for your time today. My name is Lissa Pedersen. I'm a teacher here in Buncombe County Schools, and I'm the vice president of the Buncombe County Association of Educators. And there's a truth that guides us in our association, and that truth is that school employee working conditions are student learning conditions. We want the best for our kids, and we know that you guys do as well. We're on the same page, we're on the same team, but the working conditions in the public schools currently aren't as good as they could be. And we have waited a long time for those things to get better, but honestly, our kids can't and shouldn't need to wait any longer. We have asked the staff of Buncombe County Schools that what would make your work experience better. And today we're presenting you with some of that data. We have collected over 2,400 signatures from staff and parents across our county. This includes 30% of Buncombe County Schools employees. We're asking that all people who work in the Buncombe County Schools should be paid a living wage. We are asking that teachers in the Buncombe County Schools, an area with the highest cost of living across our state, need to be paid a supplement that is the equivalent to other North Carolina school districts. I also appreciate the presentation, but as you can see, we're at 10% of a supplemental pay for teachers at a 10-year, whereas others are up to 18% and more. You didn't create these problems. The responsibility for the embarrassingly low pay for school employees starts with the leaders at the state level. The state sets the base pay. It's not a range, it's the base. We can go above that. They set the base pay, and compared to other states, we are way below the national average. So the employees of Buncombe County and other school districts depend on the local supplements to fill the gap. Buncombe County Schools or Buncombe Board of Education cannot issue debt or levy taxes, as we found out, but we are calling on you to ask the county commissioners to give us more funding to fill the gaps, to give a living, livable wage to all people who work in the Buncombe County Schools. Like I said, we're on the same page. And I want to thank you for last year when you listened to the Hill Report and to us, and you asked for a pay increase for our classified staff. At the time, there were people not even making $13 an hour, but we're not there yet. You have the power to change that. This is how we keep the best people to stay in our Buncombe County schools, and this is how we recruit people to come and work in our Buncombe County schools. This is how I stay in the Buncombe County schools, which is what I want to do for the remainder of my career. And this is how we create a learning environment that is the best situation for our kids. When you support us and we work together, we can do this. Please support a living wage for everybody who works in the Buncombe County schools. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Next is Joan Hoffman.
Good evening, I'm Joan Hoffman, AC Reynolds High School, go Rockets. I'm here to talk about the living wage. So recently, the living wage in Asheville, Buncombe has gone up to $20.10. That's pretty significant, and a Buncombe first-year teacher makes $1,100 under that living wage. That also means the majority of our hourly staff suffer from extreme financial stress, making $7,000 below the living wage. Every week we are choosing between fixing our cars, paying for root canals, other medical bills, and wondering if we can send our kid to art camp or pay for soccer. There is an inability to save any money for retirement, a home, or a rainy day for our new teachers and for most teachers. I believe it's your job to remove these hurdles and barriers so that we can do our best job as educators to serve our students. We can't be at our best when we are in survival mode, holding down multiple jobs. Since I became a teacher in Buncombe County Schools in 2005, I have campaigned for every one of you that are sitting on this stage. And I campaigned for you because I believed in you, and I know that you believe in our students and our teachers. And I know this is hard work, that you didn't create this problem. It's been building for a long time. But it's been kicked down the road, like the can's been kicked down the road, right? But you're who we have now. And I didn't hand out thousands of Apple cards, because I thought we couldn't fix this, right? So I'm calling on you to seek this hard yes that Dr. Jackson talks about, and that's supposed to be our new guiding principle here. And how do we work together as a community with the County Commission to find the resources that we need to create a budget that will sustain and retain our dedicated employees? We can ensure that these expenditures that we may need to cut, that's great, I heard you got to do some of that, but we can also ask for our employees to make a living wage, in addition to those cuts that probably need to be made from other places. Those two items aren't mutually exclusive. So thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Abigail Hessling.
Good evening. My name is Abby Hessling, and I teach at Irwin High School. This is my 14th year teaching, and I have done all of those 14 years in Buncombe County at Irwin High, and I'm proud of that. I love my school, and I hope you don't mind me saying that I believe that I'm a very good teacher and a very good department head. I have always had stellar evaluations. I have been Teacher of the Month. I was Teacher of the Year for Irwin one year, and I love what I do, and I want to stay in the classroom. I'm about halfway through my career, but I'm about to get my last real raise from the state. There are no step increases for teachers year 15 through 25. So my pay will stay the same for the next 10 years, barring any increase in supplement. After 25 years, I will get one final raise of $200 a month, and that will take me to the end of my career, whatever that may be. I believe that us teachers in the middle of our careers are huge assets to the schools. We are experts in our fields, we run committees and clubs, and we mentor the new teachers. We are the experience in the building, and we are relied on for that experience, but we are not compensated for it. Each year we lose more and more of this experience from our buildings, and their absence is felt as we lose that talent and that expertise. Many in my cohort are leaving because they simply cannot afford to stay in the classroom. My high school lost 2 such people this semester alone. Mid-semester, 2 career educators who loved their jobs and were really, really good at them moved on because they were offered jobs outside the school building that would pay them like a professional. I myself have begun to accept that if I want to stay in the classroom, I will probably need to move because it is simply not sustainable here. I want to stay in Buncombe County. I want my son to go to school in Buncombe County, but I don't think we can stay. The only reason we've been able to for this long on a teacher's salary is because we live in a house that is owned by family, so we do not have a rent or a mortgage. We are extremely lucky to have this option because without it, I could not afford to live in the county where I serve. My husband currently stays home with our 2-year-old son because we cannot secure affordable childcare that would make it possible for him to work. When other counties in the state are paying much more while also having a lower cost of living, it truly does not make sense to stay in Buncombe County and teach. We will continue to lose stellar educators if we are not competitive, and the students are the ones who will truly suffer from that and already are suffering from that. I thank you so much for your time in hearing us tonight, and I thank you in advance for advocating for us with the county commissioners. In my time here in Buncombe County, I have always been very pleased with the advocacy that this board has done on behalf of your educators. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Natalie Romanello.
Hi, everybody. My name is Natalie Romanello. I'm a teacher at Valley Springs Middle School. I teach our multilingual learners. I'm also here to speak about the necessity to increase the local supplement, and I represent the cohort of educators just starting their careers. My story is a little bit different because I started my career later in life. My family moved here in 2019, and I started my career. And for me, teaching is a viable career because I have a spouse with an established career in a private sector, and my kids no longer need childcare. But I want to share what I hear from the other teachers that I started with, those who wonder if they will ever buy a home here or ever start a family. Many are assuming when it comes time, they will have to relocate. And I'm not exaggerating. I've been inspired working alongside these innovative young professionals. They're an asset to our schools with the potential to bless our children's lives for years to come. Young professionals want to live here. They want to work in Buncombe County. But in our first several years, we make under or around the living wage. Sorry, I have a little more. Coming from the Midwest, I knew teachers would make less, and I wasn't sure what to expect. But from day one, I've been blown away by the amount of qualified teachers who are super dedicated to our children and our families, that work so hard and are worth much more than they earn. We need to retain these talented educators, and the most obvious way to do this is by raising our wages. Thank you for listening to me. I love working in Buncombe County. I love living here. It's a dream, but it isn't sustainable for most of us, even for me. So I hope you'll consider everything we've brought to you today. Thank you.
Thank you.
David Honey.
My name is David Honey. I teach and coach at Reynolds High School. I've been teaching since 2001. And in theory, I could retire in about 5.5 years. I might nominally retire at some point after that, but I love everything that I do, and I plan to do this work for at least another 20 years. But when I look ahead, I have to ask if I can responsibly plan to do that in Buncombe County. I started teaching in Raleigh, and if I were returned to Wake County now, I would make $16,000 a year more for the same work I do here. If that fell in the years that set my retirement, I could increase my income by $600 a month for the rest of my life. I especially want to talk about what BCS pays its coaches. The pay scale in place here now is lower than the one that was used in Wake County when I started over 20 years ago. And that scale itself had been in place since 1990. That is very much not the coaching salary scale they use now. Around 2015, Wake County did a comprehensive survey of their compensation systems, including athletics and other extra duty supplements. They asked, what do we need to do, rather than asking, what kind of adjustments can we make to what we're doing now? And the result of that is the higher local supplements and other teacher compensation and benefits that others here have discussed. One of the biggest changes was to begin treating coaching and other extra duty positions like band and theater directors as the professional positions they are. I made about $4,300 coaching 3 seasons last year. In Wake County, I would have made $15,000 for the same sports. Mecklenburg, Forsyth, Chapel Hill are among the other districts with pay that is not percentage points, but multiples higher than BCS. Most of our coaching positions start at less than $5 an hour if you factor in how much they work, which we should be ashamed of, even if it didn't impact our ability to fill positions. But it absolutely does. Teachers who need to supplement their teaching income can't afford to take these low-paying positions. And those who don't need the money have to ask if they can justify the time away from family when the end-of-season check is so small they don't even notice it. When I look to the future, even if I stay here, I don't know how to convince a talented coach to come work with me. If they want to be in the mountains, our rural neighbors offer much lower cost of living. If they value what a city offers, other large North Carolina districts have more pay and in many cases lower housing costs. I don't know how to ask a young teacher to choose to go into coaching. It would be irresponsible to encourage someone to take a high school coaching job that pays $825 for a full season. Going forward, we have to make choices about salaries for teaching and coaching that tell people the work they do is valuable and that we want them to do it here. Thank you so much, and thank you for all that you do.
Thank you.
Laura Cleveland.
Hello, my name is Laura Cleveland, and I have been a school social worker for 8 years. I am currently the county-wide Spanish-speaking social worker. So yes, I left my secure position to take my dream job, which is an ESSER position. We have all seen the impact of COVID on our students, from the academic struggles to increased mental health issues. We have more students who need suicide assessments and crisis response than ever. We know that ESSER funds were meant to fill the gaps in supports for students. However, these positions are no longer extra positions. They are essential services, and the loss of these positions will be felt across the school system. One example happened to me just yesterday. A high school called me to tell me or asked me to interpret for a family that had come in to do an enrollment. And it was just supposed to be a simple conversation of, here's the documents you need to bring, let's make an appointment, come on back. Well, as I learned more about the situation, I asked to speak to the student alone because I needed to assess safety issues that came up. Ultimately, we had to get community resources involved. If that counselor had just used Google Translate, we might never have found out what was going on and not been able to connect that student to the help that she needed. I love my job. Every day I help connect families to the school system and resources in the community. I am surprised how many simple phone calls I get today. I just got a parent calling me, my kid's sick, what do I need to do to tell the school? And I was like, well, here's the email address for the data manager. These parents want to connect to the school. They want to know what to do. And the fact that they have someone who speaks Spanish and they can ask has been very helpful. I know that we're all asking for funding today, but please look for the funds for these now essential positions so our students can get the supports they need to be successful. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Greg Parks.
I'd like to start off by quoting a Facebook post that was put up by a board member. They said, "They long for the days politics stays out of the bedroom. I completely agree. But the problem is the bedroom has come to the classroom. It's not by just social media or internet like the policy you have in place here tonight, but it's by the books that you allow in our schools. Board members, superintendent, administrators, why do we allow books like Do It, Let's Talk About Sex in our libraries, in our classrooms, which focus on things such as pornography, conception, sex shaming, relationships, anything and all resources about sex. Sexuality does not belong in our schools. No sexuality. So why do we allow this in our schools? Well, I can tell you why. It's because certain organizations, some of which are represented here today as the Buncombe County Association of Educators, has no problem with this agenda. In fact, they are responsible for many of you sitting here on this board. And they're going to expect to get what they want. So, how do I know this? I have a quote from their president of the Buncombe County Association of Educators. Most of the time, it's because parents don't want their children exposed to topics that make them uncomfortable, such as racism, Holocaust, sexual orientation, etc. The process for banning books varies county to county. The best thing for parents who want their kids to have access to books to do is to speak up at boards of education meetings and voting for candidates who won't restrict our rights or freedoms. Making sure that our kids are not exposed to sexuality is not opposing your freedom and your rights. That's protecting our kids. One of your main objectives here, give a clean education system. Get the filth out of the schools. But I understand you may be compromised. In fact, you're so compromised that you can't even speak up about what we've heard here tonight about the pay system. When I talk to educators didn't go into it for the money. They went in it because it was a passion. It's something they love to do. In fact, I heard mostly here tonight, it's not the pay that the teachers have, it's the fact that it costs a lot to live in Buncombe County. Why do you think that is? You vote for the same policies and procedures that drive up the cost of living in Buncombe County. Maybe, just maybe, you picked the wrong horses in the county commissioners, the state representatives, and your school board race. If you never change the system, don't expect a different result. That's my 2 cents. Thank you.
Thank you.
The last public speaker is Eric Smithers.
Good evening, and thanks for your time and attention. My name is Eric Smithers. I'm the Living Wage Program Coordinator with Just Economics. We began our Living Wage Certification Program in 2008, and we have grown it to the largest active certification program in the United States. We also lead the National Living Wage Coalition, which comprises numerous similar programs across the country. I'm here today on behalf of Just Economics to advocate to this board that living wages be included for all faculty and staff in your upcoming budget. I understand that our living wage was mentioned in previous board meetings, and I wanted to offer some context for our current Buncombe County living wage rate, as well as explain the thinking behind our formula. There are several different ways to calculate a living wage for a community. The basis for our living wage rate is the concept that a person who is working a full-time job at 40 hours a week ought to be capable of procuring a roof over their head, food for their table, and basic needs. The biggest cost of living obstacle in our community is the rising cost of housing. Our rate uses the annual data from the Housing and Urban Development. They provide fair market rate data for every county in the country. We use their numbers for a one-bedroom apartment rental. In order to qualify for a lease on an apartment, it is standard for landlords or management companies to require proof of income that represents 3 times this rental price. Our hourly living wage rate represents that yearly rental price multiplied by 3 and extrapolated to an hourly wage rate. We also use a 4-year rolling average of these numbers so that the living wage rate isn't reactive to 1-year spikes or dips in the rental market. I've provided a sheet of information with the specifics of our formula and the data used for our calculations. You'll see on the backside other living wage calculations for comparison and some historical data regarding the FMR rate in recent years. We feel that our current living wage rate of $20.10 an hour represents a wage that would allow for faculty and staff of Buncombe County Schools to provide the bare minimum for their most basic needs, and Just Economics encourages this board to include the figure as the baseline for their next labor budget. Thank you for your time and attention.
Thank you.
Madam Chair, that concludes public comment.
Thank you, sir. At this time, we're moving to the action part of the agenda. And if there's no objection, we're going to remove an item, the resolution opposing House Bill 219, Charter Bill Omnibus, for continued study. And we will take this up at a future meeting. Is there objection?
No.
Hearing none, then we will remove that item from the action agenda. First item on the action agenda is PRC 071, teacher supplement approval. Are there questions from board members about this item? Hearing none, I would entertain a motion to approve.
So moved, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Is there any discussion? I can get my act together. Thank you. Any opposed? Next item is child care tuition request, Ms. Thorpe and Jennifer Reed. There are questions from the board on this item.
Madam Chair, I have several. As I've stated before, child care, I have a lot of passion around it. I remember having my second child and having to pay over $300, now he's 32 years old, sitting over there, but I had to pay close to $400 for daycare. And it was hard for us. I remember when, and I think all of us need to remember when. In talking to teachers, both at Irwin and at North Buncombe, they've told me that increasing tuition is going to be very difficult for them. Some of them have 2 and 3 children. I asked the question about, do we provide lunch for these children? I got the answer tonight, and the answer is no. The parents have to pay extra for their lunch. They close at 3:30. They used to close it at 4. So teachers that I know are staying very late, and I've seen them as a sub, are not, they have to pick up their kids at 3:30. They can't have conferences after that. There's just so much that I feel like that we need to look at differently, have a committee to come together, talk about other options that we can do. This is a retention and a recruiting strategy. I hope we can all agree with that. I've seen it in action. It works very well. We have former board members that grandchildren go there and they talk about how smart they are and how much they've learned. I am just not comfortable with asking these parents for additional funds, additional tuition at this time.
Okay.
The one last thing, Madam Chair, the proposal is stating that by the year 2024, that this increase needs to go up to $768 a month. And I can tell you that we can take our kids to other child care centers that stay open till 6 o'clock. They open at 7. And they provide them lunch. They provide them breakfast, all of those things. And I just simply don't want to add additional cost and additional funds that teachers are, we've heard how hard it is for them to live today. This is one I'm very passionate about.
Okay, Ms. Clemens, I will call to your attention that this item only speaks of a $50 increase.
Yes.
In tuition, and not the other information that you added in your.
Well, it's in the proposal. It does say that.
That's just there for information.
Yeah.
Just for us to be.
Considering this is what we're going to have to get to. Well, my point is, I think we need to look at what are our other options. If teachers have 2 kids, that's $100 a month. And I don't know about you, but $100 can be a lot of money to two teachers or to a single mother that I've talked to as well. If we want to maybe increase it $25, get a start on that, but I really want us to not just increase tuition, but I want us to really look at what are our other options. And if it is going to the county commissioners, I'm happy to do that and say, we need help because they are very focused on pre-K and preschool. I talked to two of them today.
Is it the right time for discussion, or what do we need to be doing?
There's no motion, so if you want to make the chair asked for if there was any questions of staff.
Okay.
So, but if somebody wants to make a motion, then you can enter into debate.
I have a question for staff. Is this a good time for that then? Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Ms. Thorpe, I just was wondering, with this increase, is there opportunities to look at any of the pre-K grants to help offset this increase? Or, have we looked at that yet? Or are there guidelines that don't allow us to do that? That's a pretty vague question. I apologize.
And you have to be careful because this is not NC pre-K. So this is a true enterprise system that is very similar to our school nutrition that has to be self-sustaining. So yes, there are other grants out there, and there's two written right now that we do not know the results if we're going to get those or not. And one is a stabilization grant, and one is from the county for the early child care that they have out there right now. So we have written that through Miss Betsy Stockslager, who is the director here at Central Office that's helping oversee this. So there are grants out there
that we could use.
If we got them.
Just sticky, right. Well, yes, of course, but there's, while they're very strict, it sounds like from what you're saying, we are, and it looks like you guys are looking at that.
Betsy
right now.
is very proactive in trying to find every grant that we could apply for.
Okay.
And these are just as a finance officer, my due diligence is to show you the numbers, bring it to the board, and allow you to make a decision based on the facts of what it takes to operate those without any grants. And that's what that number represents when you're looking in that information that you're reading. With 15 students at each location, it takes 768 from those to be self-sustaining.
That's what
that
it will
means.
take that year, correct? That's not what it takes now. That's what it will take if we make it to phase 3 that year. Is that not what I was understanding in that?
Correct. That's why we're trying to work our way towards what it takes in '24.
Can I ask a question based on what you just said? So I heard you say we're an enterprise system with regard to that, so we have to break even. Is that you saying that we don't have the option to make up the gap, to cover the gap? Is that what you're saying?
The board can make a decision if they choose to use local funds, if they choose to do so, or they could go to the county commissioners and seek additional help in addition to the local operating funds that we receive.
So with what we're asking for next year, if we're allocating 15 kids at each school, and we're talking about 4 schools, and we only charge parents 10 months out of the year, is that correct? Mm-hmm. So we're talking about $30,000 total, correct? Like a total raise of $30,000.
And keep in mind, we're hopeful to implement the phase 3 of the salary study, which drastically impacts the self-sustainability of this program.
I get it. I guess, and I don't know if this is the right time or if there needs to be a motion and discussion.
Well, just talk. And
I just feel like, and I've been saying this from the beginning, this is not an apples to apples. Like 768 is what some of the 5-star facilities in our county is charging. My youngest son went to the Academy of Asheville, and they don't even charge that right now. I think I get it from a finance standpoint, and I appreciate you doing your job, and that's all that you're doing. You're just giving us the numbers.
Correct.
And I also appreciate that, part of this is a bed that we've made because we've chosen to give the raises, and that's why we have this shortfall. But I guess I'm of the mind where I feel like we need to find the money elsewhere, and I don't know what that looks like, and I think it's just too much of an ask. And I've had my oldest was part of this program, and I am pretty sure that we did get out at 3:30 then at Irwin anyways. But it's not open on teacher work days. It's not open, on breaks. And yet you still pay the same amount. Like we're comparing. It's going to end up per hour. It's going to be way above what the norm is, even for some of the best facilities in our area. And I just can't get on board with that. And I understand that might not be fiscally responsible, but I just feel like we need to make up the money another way. We need to find another way.
Can I ask one more question of Tina? It sounds like at one point the centers were open longer, and I imagine the hours were probably cut as a cost-saving measure. So I'm wondering, maybe not, no?
I would like
Okay.
full confirmation that they were actually open longer, because I'm not certain that that's true.
3:30 has always been the pickup as far as I am aware. And
That's that's what it was 12 years ago.
Okay.
my child went through one, but not in Buncombe, and the pickup was 3:30 in that area as well from the high school.
Yeah.
So I guess one thing I'm wondering is to justify the increase, and thankfully we, as much as I know this gives y'all heartburn, we were talking September 1st, so we do have a little bit of time to hash some of this out. But if we're looking at an increase, is there a way, and what that would look like financially, to maybe stay open a little later so that it is an incentive for the teachers to be able to do their conferences, or even, a half a day on a teacher work day, something where they, could get a little bit more for what they're paying that might be of benefit and an easier pill to swallow with the increase.
Thank you.
So the answer
to me
to
that we are seeking.
I have an answer, sorry. Yes, she was getting ready to answer. Sorry.
Okay, I'm sorry, Tina. Go
So
ahead.
financially, we can look at the numbers as far as the number of employees that are in there. If they stay 30 minutes longer in all 4 centers, we can do the math for you, yes.
That's what I would be curious to know, if it's even a feasibility. And the other thing would be to look at the possibility of, on a teacher workday, offering a half of that teacher workday option, and what the numbers would look like for that.
Okay, it seems like we're trying to work our way into solving this problem, but I need a motion.
I'll happily move that we have a motion for this.
Thank you. So
I'm sorry.
Motion to approve the recommendation?
Well, the motion actually is not to, but to maybe allow for more conversation.
So
I would like to make a
Hold on
motion
one
that
second.
we
There's a
do not approve
there's a
this
hold on one second.
recommendation.
Just need some clarity. Do you want to defer to that motion, or do you just?
I am happily will defer to somebody who's more clear.
Oh, I just want to make sure
No,
if you
no,
want. Okay.
I say that in full recognition that I don't always make sense.
Okay, so if I ask for a motion to approve, and I don't get one, that it's a dead issue, is that
Gotcha.
correct?
Correct.
I would look for a motion to approve this item. Hearing none, this item does not pass. The authorization, next item, the authorization of lottery application, paving Valley Springs Middle School, Pisgah Elementary School, Oakley Elementary School, Community High School, and Inca High School. Could I get a motion to approve this item?
So moved.
Thank you. Was that a move and a second?
Yes.
Thank you. Any discussion about these items? Hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Authorization of lottery application, North Buncombe High School softball field stadium lights. I want to make the motion.
And I'll
that-
second it.
Thank you, that we authorize this, and I have a second. Any questions or comments for Mr. Wyatt on this item? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. Page 2, Paul Harvey. Athletic participation fee, proposed change. Could I get a motion to approve this?
I would like to make a motion to table the vote on this athletic fee increase until the next board meeting so that we have time to study this issue a little bit further with the athletic department and the superintendent.
That's a motion to table. I need a second.
I'll second.
Boy, that was a chorus. All right. All those in favor of table?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Item is tabled. Next part of the agenda is the consent agenda. Budget amendment number 5, elementary class size waiver request, Reynolds Middle School lease extension to County Fire Department, Avery's Creek Elementary School new roadway construction and easement agreement, minutes for March 2, 2023, regular meeting open session, minutes of March 2, 2023 special called meeting, the personnel report, approval of board member training credits, policies for second reading, policy 2120, code of ethics for school board members, policy 2123, board member opportunities for development, policy 2330, board meeting agenda, policy 2410, policy development, policies to be rescinded, policy 2420, adoption of policies, policy 2440, policy review and evaluation, policy 2450, suspension of board policies. Could I get a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So moved.
Thank you. I believe there was a second in there as well. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? On the information agenda, we have financial reports, policy for first reading, policy 3226 and 4205, internet safety. Our next meeting will be May the 4th at 12 p.m. in the Minotaurium. Our regular meeting will be May the 4th. We'll have a work session at 4, and our regular board meeting will start at 5:30. Could I get a motion to adjourn?
May the 4th be with you.
May the 4th what?
Second.
What did I do?
It's an 80s joke, Madam Chair.
Okay, so I have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Let's just crucify the chair. Go ahead.
We're off, Ann.